Welcome everyone. In today's video, I wanted to talk about Apricot Finance. So Apricot Finance is a new lending and borrowing marketplace that has gone live on the Solana mainnet, I think in the last 2 or 3 days, and it's attracted over $260 million in TVL. Now, I'll explain to you why. So in their mainnet announcement, Apricot Finance said that they would reward early users of the project. So essentially, you will get an airdrop in the future when they decide to release a token if you use Apricot Finance now. So I think that it's worthwhile to go ahead and try out this protocol. And I think it has some really cool things that you guys might like. So it still has the same lending and borrowing functionality that Solend and Port Finance has, but it has X-Farm and Apricot Assist, but I'll get into that later on in this video. So what you can do with Apricot Finance is that you can deposit collateral in here and then earn a deposit APY. Or you can deposit your collateral in here and then borrow against it. So say for example, you could deposit SOL and then borrow ETH, or you could deposit Bitcoin and then borrow USDT. So I'll show you now how you can do this. So let me just deposit 2 SOL. Let's apply that now. And I'll approve this transaction. And up here it comes up with my deposits, and I'm currently getting 1.56 APY. Now if I wanted to borrow USDT, for example, I can click here, I could press borrow, and let's just say I want to borrow $10. I'll be paying 7.96% APY for doing so, and I could just press borrow and then approve this transaction. So up here in the top right hand side of my screen, it should say the assets that I've borrowed and the interest that I'll be getting charged on this borrow. So I'm just going to repay this back right now. There we go. And now onto the exciting part of Apricot Finance, and this is the X-Farm. If I go into the docs, it'll give you a little bit more color on what is happening with Apricot Cross Farm. So Apricot X Farm provides cross-margin leveraged yield farming services for users to maximize yield from their existing holdings. Let's take the USDT USDC LP farming for example. In other leveraged yield farming protocols, users would need to own some amount of USDT and USDC before they can start farming the stablecoin pair. However, on Apricot X Farm, users do not need to own any amount of USDT or USDC to start farming. Instead, they can collateralize their non-stablecoin assets to borrow the stablecoins with up to 3x leverage and start farming the USDT USDC LP right away. In short, you can just deposit any supported asset. I'm going to be using SOL. And then you can start farming LP tokens up to 3x leverage using entirely borrowed assets, and the LP tokens in your account are auto-staked and periodically compounded. So I've already deposited my SOL, and now I'm going to enter this USDC USDT LP farm that they have here. So this is built on top of Orca. So right now you can get 8.36% APY for farming here, and additionally you can get 75% APY for doing the SOL USDC LP here as well. But for the purposes of this video, I'll just be showing you the stablecoin pair. So if I click here on farm, I can choose how much I want to borrow for this particular farm as well. So you can borrow up to 90%. On the right here, you can see how much you earn from LP farming, and then how much you're going to have to pay in the borrowing interest and your final APY. So just watch out for the borrowing interest, and if it spikes too high, and if it spikes above what the LP farming rewards are, it's not going to be worth your time actually yield farm. But to enter this farm, I'm just going to select how much I want to borrow. So I'm just typing in, let's just say $200, and that's only 43.4% of my borrow limit used. So in this transaction, I'll borrow 101 USDC and 99.41 USDT at most. That then gets deposited into Orca to obtain $200 worth of USDC USDT LP token, and then the LP token will be deposited back into my Apricot Finance account. So I'll press start farming here. I'll press approve. And then we should see the LP tokens in my deposits here and what I'm currently borrowing. So you can see here on the right, the net APY that I'm earning from all of my deposits and all of my borrows is currently at 3%. So to help manage your leveraged yield farming, they have Apricot Assist. If we go back into the docs here, we can see what Apricot Assist is. So Apricot Assist is designed specifically to help users manage their leverage positions to reduce liquidation risk through an automated self-deleveraging mechanism. So you can use Apricot Assist to dictate when to start selling or redeeming your collateral assets, what and how much assets should be sold or redeemed. So in this example, they have a user who opens up a 3x leverage USDT USDC LP position against their SOL. However, the price of SOL falls dramatically overnight, and the user can stay protected if they use Apricot Finance in a certain way. So you can have the borrow limit used to reach 95%. So if the borrow limit hits 100%, you will then get liquidated, which means that your principal will get sold off to repay the debt. And you don't want, and you definitely don't want that. So if you have your borrow limit set at 95% and it gets hit, a certain amount of USDT, USDC LP tokens will be redeemed to pay back the debt so that you get back to a 90% limit. So the Apricot Assist intervention produces the following outcomes. It means that your borrow limit used goes back down to 90%, which is safe. Remember that 100% gets you liquidated, and you definitely don't want that. And it also means that all of your initial SOL principal is preserved. So I'm going to show you guys how you can return all of this money as well. So I'm just going to press redeem here. Get back on my stable coins. So let me just withdraw that again. Now all I need to do is repay this small amount of USDC. So I'm going to need to go to Saber, swap that USDT to USDC and repay that off. Okay, so now I have some USDC I can pay this all off with. Press repay. Approve. So everything I just borrowed has now been paid off, and now I can withdraw all of my collateral. Press approve here. And there we go. So that was a quick overview of Apricot Finance. I think you guys should definitely check out this project. You'll get rewarded for doing so in the future when they eventually release their token. So I think there's a lot of potential in Apricot's cross farm, especially in the stablecoin yield farming area. I think that is very useful for anyone who just wants to get a passive source of yield. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.